Welcome to the fourth and final lesson of this series, Piano Training for Proper Hand Position with a Relaxed Wrist and Arm. Having the proper hand position is fundamental to playing the piano. This training enables the development of strength, endurance, power, control, and speed. In this lesson, we'll build upon the knowledge and skills presented in the first three tutorials of this series. In number 1 and number 2, the fingers were positioned close together. Exercise number 3 used an open extended hand position applied to the diminished seventh chords. We began each chord positioning on the strongest part of the hand, which is the thumb. Here, in exercise number 4, we'll again use the diminished seventh chords for an open extended hand position. Now, however, we'll begin each positioning on the weakest part of the hand, which is the fifth finger. If you are not familiar with the diminished seventh chords, this will be an added learning opportunity. For the very best results, it's important to continually review all 4 of these exercises. So let's get started. The diminished seventh chords consist of all minor thirds. You can think of a minor third as 3 half steps. Remember, a half step does not skip any notes. So, from C to here is 1 half step, 2 half steps, 3 half steps up to E flat. So a C diminished seventh chord is C, E flat, G flat, A, and C. We'll be moving up the piano 1 octave chromatically. Chromatic means moving in half steps. In other words, we will not skip any notes. First, let's check our beginning hand position. Let's place our hands back on the C diminished seventh chord. C, E flat, G flat, A, and C. And let's check our wrist. Be sure that our wrist is tall. Don't let your wrist get low like that. Keep your knuckles tall and rounded. Don't let your knuckles cave in that manner. Check your fingers. Be sure that your fingers are tall and curved, not caved in like this. Also, keep the outside of your hand, your fifth finger, tall and not caved in. Don't let your hand turn in that manner. Remember that we'll begin each chord sequence with the fifth finger here. As in the previous hand position exercises, we'll play 1 note at a time and continue holding each note. After all the notes of each chord are played and being held down, we will pause for a moment, resting and relaxing our hand into the keys. And I'll be talking through the entire exercise. Each note will be played using a 1-inch finger action. Immediately relax your wrist and arm after the note is played, keeping your knuckles and fingers tall and strong. Here we go, fifth finger on C. Tall 1-inch finger action. A, G flat, E flat, and C. If you immediately relax the wrist and arm, there will be a naturally occurring rebound motion. Relax your hand. Here comes C sharp, fifth finger, B flat, here's G, E, and C sharp. Keep your knuckles tall. Relax your hand as we hold this. Next comes D, fifth finger, B, A flat, F, and D. Keep your fingers rounded and tall, not caved in or flattened. Quickly and immediately relax your wrist. D sharp, fifth finger. Here's C, A, F sharp, and D continue to check that the fifth finger, the outside of your hand, remains tall and curved. Next comes E. 1 inch finger motion, D flat, B flat. Here's G and E. Stop to rest at any time that you might need to. You do not want any strain or stiffness in your wrists or your arms. Next is F. Here's D, C flat, A flat, and F. Look for that naturally occurring rebound motion. If you're immediately relaxing the wrist as soon as the key is struck, there will be the rebound motion. Next is F sharp, E flat, C, A, and F sharp. Now, only the weight of your arm and hand is needed to hold down the keys. No extra force should be used. Just relax your hand into the shape. G comes next, tall, F flat, keep your fifth finger tall, D flat, B flat, and G. Think of your fingers as hooks and your hand is simply hanging comfortably. Next is G sharp. Here's F. Keep that fifth finger tall. Here's D, B, and G sharp. Check that your wrist, arm, and shoulder are tension-free and relaxed. A comes next. G flat, E flat, C, and A. Looking for that naturally occurring rebound motion after each note is played. Next comes A sharp. G, here's E, C sharp, and A sharp. Immediately relaxing your wrist after each note is played. Keep your knuckles tall and strong. Check your fifth finger. Here's B, A flat, F, D, and B. Using your fingers as hooks, allow your hand to just simply hang from the keys. And then here's your final chord, C diminished seventh. Wonderful practice. Let's move on to the left hand. Let's check our hand position. Place your left hand thumb on C below middle C, and we'll play a C diminished chord. C, E flat, G flat, A, and C. Check your wrist. Be sure your wrist is tall. Don't let it be lowered like that. Keep your wrist tall. Check your knuckles. Be sure your knuckles are tall and rounded. And also check your fingers. You want to have a tall, curved finger, not caved in that manner. Also, keep the outside of your hand, where your fifth finger is, tall, not caved in like that. We'll begin each left hand chord with the fifth finger, holding down all the notes as we go. Each chord will move up the octave, playing the exercise exactly like we did with the right hand. So let's go back to our C diminished chord. Remember your 1 inch finger action, and then immediately relax your wrist and arm, keeping your knuckles and fingers tall and strong. Here we go. C with the fifth finger, E flat, G flat. Here's A and C. If you immediately relax the wrist and arm, there will be a naturally occurring rebound motion. Here we go with C sharp. Here's E, G, B flat, and C sharp. Keep your knuckles tall. Relax your hand into the shape. Here comes D. F, A flat, B, and D. Keep your fingers rounded and tall, not caved in or flattened. Remember to use your 1-inch finger motion. We're on D sharp now. F sharp, A, C, and D sharp. Quickly and immediately relax your wrist. Continue to check that the 5th finger remains tall and curved. Here we go with E, G, B flat, D flat, and E. Stop to rest at any time that you might need to. You don't want any strain or stiffness in your wrist or arms. Here we go with F. Remember your 1-inch finger motion, C flat, and F. Relax your hand. Look for that naturally occurring rebound motion. If you are immediately relaxing the wrist as soon as the key is struck, there will be that naturally occurring rebound motion. Now for F sharp. Here's A, C, E flat, F sharp. Only the weight of your arm and the hand is needed to hold down the keys. No extra force should be used. Here we go with G diminished. Tall fingers, D flat, F flat, and G. Think of your wrists as just hanging from your fingers, and that your fingers are hooks. Your whole hand is just simply hanging comfortably. Here comes G sharp diminished. Tall finger motion. Here's B. Good 1-inch finger strokes. G sharp. Relax your hand. Think of your fingers as hooks just hanging from the keys, from your fingers. A is next. Here's A. C. Check your 5th finger. Be sure that it remains tall. G flat and A. Relax your hand. No extra weight should be added while the notes are being held down. Next is going to be A sharp, C sharp, E, G, and A sharp. Only the weight of your arm and hand is needed to hold down the keys here. We're on B now. 1-inch finger motion. Next is F, A flat, B. Relax your hand and arm. Make sure your shoulder is relaxed. And then that brings us to C. Fantastic work. Remember, continued repetition of the 4 practice methods in this series will advance your finger technique and your piano playing enjoyment. You'll see tremendous results. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe so you receive the latest training, teaching, and performance videos.